I think that AI technology has the capability to bootstrap and supercharge our typical human creative processes. All of us are creative to some degree at the end of the day, even if you don't consider yourself to be so. We all have little sparks of imagination that might stem from people, places, things that have occurred in our past. Creativity is a raw human experience, and our emotional connection to our creative ideas is what makes them special. But actually taking those little creative sparks of imagination and turning them into something bigger than you could ever imagine is typically or traditionally a lot of hard work and money. I mean, to make a movie, you need actors, filming, a whole script, hundreds if not thousands of hours of work. But hey, this is where AI steps in. I think that with the right tool that uses AI in the correct way, your creativity can be bootstrapped and supercharged to levels unprecedented. Your creative sparks, your imagination doesn't have to be held back by traditional technological barriers. That is the premise of today's video and the tool that we're going to be checking out today. Before we go any further on this video, I do want to say full disclosure, Saga did sponsor today's video. However, before you click off here, all opinions are absolutely my own. My goal here is to use Saga to the best of my capabilities and see if it's really valuable for you guys at the end of the day. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be straightforward. If my opinions aren't my own for this video, then the video is valueless, and I understand that. While sponsors do make this channel a full-time reality for me, it does not mean that I'm going to go easy on any sponsor. Today, we're going to be checking out Saga. It's a storytelling tool powered by AI technology, particularly aimed at screenplay writers and filmmakers, and by the way, built by filmmakers for filmmakers. However, I'm in the camp where even if you don't have any experience with filmmaking, I think that putting your creative storytelling ideas into a platform like this could still be very well worth your time. Like I said in the intro, I think that creativity is a native human experience, and exploring it can be so rewarding. Bottom line, what we're going to be evaluating here is Saga's promise to take your creative sparks and actually turn them into genuinely high-quality cinematic content with AI's help. Let's roll through the rundown of how the process in Saga actually works. We're going to start by entering what we already know about the movie idea or the storytelling idea from our brains. We're then going to select from a range of archetypes and storytelling patterns. Again, think this platform is built by filmmakers for filmmakers, so these traditional archetypes and storytelling patterns are deeply ingrained not only in Hollywood, as they mention here, but far into human past. Think about the epics told in Greek legends. Now, as we're going through plotting out this idea, if we ever need inspiration, Saga can use AI to give us fresh ideas and even generate compelling plot elements that stay true to what our original vision entails. So we're definitely going to be testing that out. When we move into characters, we'll define everything that we know about them, and if we get stuck, have a writer's block, the Saga AI will offer us personalized recommendations. This really interests me. They note that it actually can analyze the entire context of your screenplay and the movie and all of its elements together, so it should be able to provide reliable suggestions for characters' wants, needs, lies, or backstories. Saga ensures that each idea aligns seamlessly with your overall narrative. This is not easy to do from a technical standpoint in relation to AI. AI has gotten better in relation to its context window size, but movies and screenplays can be quite big. There's a lot of elements that could be jumbled around here, and I'm wondering if the AI is going to be able to handle it all. Very recently, I did a video on pseudo-write, which has a pretty similar premise to this product, but it's more for novel writing. And I really did enjoy that tool, but I have to say that sometimes it did struggle to ensure that all ideas aligned seamlessly. It seemed to be on the technical limitation side regarding the AI, so I want to see if Saga AI has figured out a way to actually make this work efficiently. For story development, looks like they have typical templates, a default 40-beat feature film length template. The script writing feature of Saga is going to do exactly what I was talking about in the intro, ignite our creativity by generating action descriptions and dialogue that complement your overall vision. I mean, this is really the cool part. This is the supercharging of the human creativity, the natural natural creativity that we possess that I'm trying to get after here. Also, of course, AI can generate imagery, as we know, so they do have a pretty cool storyboard wizard that seems to take all of your different scenes and moments from the story and actually picture them out for you. Not the first time we've seen capabilities like this before. Think back to LTX Studio. I'm really interested to see how it's different from that platform in this regard. Alright, blank page here on Saga. The title of the movie that we're going to create. We're going to go with the title Gold Runner, alright? This is actually a real plot idea, real creative story that I've been working on and I've been thinking about in the past. I think it's going to make for a great example to really test the capabilities of this thing. I could go with something more traditional, you know, a light lemon-based story, but I want something that's going to push this platform. What's the point if we can't harvest some real creativity that actually is deep inside of my soul? Now, a logline. I'm not familiar with this. They do give us some examples, though. Okay, so this is like a couple sentences that describe the movie. Alright, here's my logline. A gold miner in ancient Mesopotamia rebels against his masters, guided by the principles of freedom and the deepest truths of the world he lives in. You guys will learn more about this story I have concocted, but yeah, we're taking ancient Mesopotamian, Babylonian, and biblical myths and sort of combining them together into a brand new story. That's the basic gist of this whole idea. Now that we actually have 2 bits of information here, let's have it generate the theme. The theme is a central message of the story. Wow, these are actually all pretty spot on to the story that I have in mind. Are the deepest truths of the world worth uncovering if they lead to rebellion and chaos? Should one sacrifice personal safety and comfort to fight against oppression and injustice? Man, these are all pretty good, but I'm gonna go with this top one. It's pretty spot on. Is it justifiable to defy authority and risk everything for the sake of freedom, even if it means destabilizing the world around you? Yeah, that sounds like the core theme of this tale that I'm going to tell. Alright, now we're going to be getting into some archetypes. What plot archetypes does your story follow? And there's a ton of examples to choose from. A lot of these I think I could choose. I really like the superhero one, David versus Goliath, some of these classic archetypal stories, but I think road story is probably going to fit the idea that I had in my mind best. It looks like we can add multiple though. Oh, only 2. So we'll add superhero and road story. Add a couple genres in here: adventure, mystery, suspense, and action. Ooh, the tone of the movie. Generate some examples. I want this to be dark and thought-provoking, genuinely. I also want it to be adventurous and legendary. This is easily a PG-13 film. I have some ideas in mind for the B-plot of this story, but I want to see what the AI comes up with based off of what we've provided. I like all of the ideas that the AI generated for this B story. I think they all could work in the overall story, but I have to, at the end of the day, side with my creativity and go with my gut feeling in regards to this B story. Like I said, I have genuinely been thinking about this for quite some time, so while these AI ideas are good, I'm going to stick with my gut. Don't let the AI do all of the work. It will be better and bootstrap your creativity more efficiently if you actually input as much of your own heart and soul into this as you possibly can. This isn't the only subplot or B story that I have in mind for this film, but this is the one that I'm going to put in for now. So the Gold Runner is going to have 2 allies that save him from near death early in the story, and they choose to embark and continue the journey with him, but eventually this will lead to both of these characters' untimely deaths. Spoiler alert. And the story takes place in ancient Mesopotamia. So for characters, I've already got names and stuff picked out. So we're going to be pasting a bunch of stuff in here that I have already had set up earlier. I tried to pick names that are like from ancient Mesopotamia, give or take. Our main character here is going to be the Gold Runner. His actual name is Davos. He is obviously a protagonist. Now we can go through his arc. What is this guy's transformation going to be over time? It's going to be pretty brutal. We're going to go with the disillusion arc. The character needs the moral lesson. They learn and accept the tragic nature of society, and their resulting outlook is bleak. I know, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a great story, but, you know, you gotta have things that are tough going on. It looks like we can add multiple arcs, though. I'm going to put a positive one in there as well, since they are the main character. He's in his early 30s, he's muscular and weathered. He's been a gold miner for his whole life, essentially. That's his backstory. He's also missing a right arm, but his other arm is very powerfully developed. Here's a little bit on his personality. Resilient and determined, obviously. He is our main character. Unwavering spirit that boards on, stubborn. underlying sense of hope and purpose, of course, values personal freedom above all else, matching the plot that we already went through here, where he's rebelling against his masters guided by the principles of freedom. Oh, and we have more archetypes. Okay, so archetypes for this character. Obviously, he's a hero, wants to stand up for others, can be too arrogant and aggressive, and afraid of being perceived as weak. Definitely true. Obviously rebellious as well. Alright, now we have to get into the wants, some external goals that drive the character. Let's see what the AI comes up with. Some of these are spot on to what I already had in mind. Recover the ancient artifact of freedom hidden deep within the Mesopotamian desert, believing it will spark a revolution against the oppressive masters. What truth must the character learn about the world? Freedom is not just about defying authority, but also about taking responsibility for the consequences of one's own actions. And the lie, what false beliefs are an obstacle to your character? This is like stuff I never would have even thought of. But again, that filmmaking background for the creators of Saga is clearly paying off. Let's see what lies it generates. You know what? This one's pretty good right here. I was almost going to go with this first one, but I think this one down here kind of aligns better with what I have in mind. Davos thinks his physical resilience and determination are enough to overcome any obstacle, blind to the emotional and moral toll his actions take on himself and those around him. And a ghost, an unresolved issue from his past. These examples are all super thought-provoking. They align very well with everything that I've put in so far into the story. The ghost, the unresolved issue in the character's past, isn't something that I had fully resolved in my head creatively, so it's time to choose that now. Let's click this one and edit it. Alright, here's what I have for the ghost. Most of this is written by me, but partially helped out by the AI. Essentially, guys, the gods here are going to be kind of the bad guys, the antagonists. They are unwavering, perfect figures that are above humans in every way. But Davos, when he was younger, uncovered a hidden truth about this, that it might not be what it seems, and this still haunts him today. It also drives his rebellion for freedom and independence, and he's also lost an arm, so that's a physical ghost that is kind of in the same light. Alright, so off camera, I went ahead and filled in a bunch of other characters. We've got 2 antagonists, the rest being protagonists. Obviously, for the sake of time, I'm not going to show all of that. I did use the AI quite a few times to fill in some of the wants, needs, and lies of some of these other characters. And with all of these characters in the main plot sort of filled in, let's see what the AI comes up with right off the bat. I already have something in mind. You can see the film opens in the ancient Mesopotamian desert where Davos secretly uncovers the ancient artifact buried beneath the sands. Okay, no, we want to uncover the ancient artifact much later. So I'm going to write my own opening. I went ahead here and I wrote out the full Act 1 from memory. I don't know if this is enough though. I'd like to add a little bit on to this. So I'm going to go to the AI chat in the top corner here where we can apparently just chat about anything. Anything relating to the story, the plot, the characters, the acts. What could we add to Act 1 to improve it? Yeah, going through all of these, I like all of these suggestions that the AI came up with. They very much complement the act and the story as a whole. And the original story that I wrote actually has some of these specifics in it. Because originally when I was writing this story, it was in the form of a novel actually testing out pseudo-write. So let's have it rewrite Act 1 and incorporate all these bullets, leaving out only 5. I would really like to start the story with Davos unconscious. With the right prompt, we were able to get some good info, and we will replace Act 1 with this much more refined variant. So you can see, we started with just a paragraph of my own creativity, and then sprouted it into something that's a lot more detailed and has better implications for the rest of the film. Genuinely high-quality cinematic storytelling. Now, with this brand new written out Act 1, let's auto-generate a new Act 2A. Alright, Act 2 begins with Davos recovering in Gorma's magical hut. She's a healer, basically becomes his mentor, challenges his belief that rebellion alone will bring freedom, urging him to consider the consequences of his own actions. I think that is very much in line with the messaging we want to get across with this story. Korn and Lucan, his 2 protagonist friends who saved him early on in the story, are joining him in his pursuit for freedom. They face some harrowing obstacles, a sandstorm that traps them in an ancient ruin, where Davos uncovers a hidden map to the artifact but loses precious time. Second, they encounter a village devastated by divine punishment, where Davos must choose between helping the survivors or continuing his quest. That's kind of like a curveball I wasn't expecting, or I wouldn't anticipate myself. And third, there's a deadly ambush by one of the villains in the story, Firaxis, where his minions force Davos to rely on Corrin and Lucan instead of himself, which establishes the value of teamwork and trust within the trio. So these sharpen his leadership skills, and again, more character development for our main character here and our side characters. Man, I really like it. That's all-inclusive. That works, I think. Genuinely, from a storytelling perspective, I think that works. Discovers the artifact's location. Temple is guarded by divine barrier that will collapse. That kind of irks me the wrong way in terms of telling a story that truly aligns with what my vision emotionally is and my own creativity. I think I'm going to start by taking this and doing some editing. All right, I made a couple of tweaks to the artifact. The artifact's power is revealed to be stronger than anticipated, raising concerns over the intentions, capabilities, and corruption of its wielder, forcing Davos to confront the ultimate cost of his own rebellion, decide whether to risk everything for freedom or abandon his quest to protect those he cares about. Pretty stereotypical, I think, at the end of the day. Not dead set on this, but it's a start for sure. Okay, the auto-generated one for Act 2B actually surprised me. Davos faces a moral dilemma when one of our heroes recklessly charges into battle, and tragically, as said earlier, this person dies, mortally wounded, his death leaving Davos guilt-ridden. Death is sad, but you know what? It fits the story, and it actually fits exactly with what I had in mind. Some death, some tragedy in the story, but furthering the character development. Now, Act 3 needs an unexpected turn of events. Alright, I've read through this, and it does not align with what I want to do for the story, so we're gonna use our own creativity over the AI in this circumstance. Those decision points are very important and meaningful if you want to use a AI tool like this to actually supercharge your creativity. You have to know when to stick with your gut and stick with the creative emotions that are inside of you. So for my idea for Act 3, I'm gonna have to make a new character. Alright, quick character drafted up. Help me write another outline, this time for Act 3. Basically, I want this new character that we just drafted to seize control of the artifact and use it to begin slaughtering gods. And then the gods are going to react by deciding to wipe humanity out with a great flood. Again, we're drawing on some of these old tales from Babylonian, Mesopotamian, biblical myths. Alright, so I made a bunch of changes to the final act. We've got Davos injured by Ashur using the all-powerful artifact. The flood then begins. Corrin leaves Davos on the principle of warning humanity about the impending flood. He is then able to rile up humanity for survival. Villagers who once feared rebellion now rise up to protect their fellow man against the remnants of the flood and the fallout of the rampage and the craziness of the story. Then the main head god watches from above, recognizing humanity's resilience and realizing that wiping them out won't guarantee his divine control in the future, and he reluctantly retreats with the other gods in like a massive flying temple above the water. Now, just as those gods think they've gotten away safely, a piece of debris caught by the massive flood, which Davos has managed to scramble onto, blows by the temple, and he is able to slay that main villain god. But the rest of the gods push him back into the water, and he's presumed again like he could be dead. So on the epilogue, we see Corrin, who sees the cost of rebellion. They start to rebuild society, but at the end of the movie, reveal that Davos is still alive. Now we go into the beats. I feel like the AI should have a pretty easy job generating a lot of these elements. This looks like a pretty good beat to throw in the prologue. The AI says that he frees a bird that is struggling to escape a net, but it flies away injured, which foreshadows his very rough journey towards the rest of the film. And by the way, in the act, actually all the way at the end of Act 3, and when he's revealed to be alive, he sees a bird flying high above, a symbol of freedom achieved through sacrifice, resilience, and responsibility. So it really rounds things out. I don't know how to turn it into a full-length, actually stand on its own 2 feet, decent story. The power of AI and the Saga platform are definitely making that way more of a reality than it would be if I just sat down and tried to write this out on Google Docs myself. Alright, protagonist want. This aligns literally with exactly what we described in one of the acts, so we're going to keep that. Yeah, I think a lot of these can probably just end up being AI generated at the end of the day, because we already have so much information. So in the interest of time, I have filled out Act 1 here. I do want to get into the script writing here because this is when things get real, right? We did all of this preparation. We've got a generate scene button. We can include various beats, obviously, but we're not going to want to include any of these beats just yet. We need like establishing shots, set the stage for our story, generate scene. Is it going to be able to just like pick up everything that we put in and actually create a good opening to this movie? Wow, holy cow. Definitely looks like a movie script, I'll tell you that much. Exterior, ancient Mesopotamian desert dusk. The vast expanse of a golden desert stretches as far as the eye can see. The setting sun bleeds fiery hues of orange and red, casting long shadows against crumbling ruins of ancient stone structures. A deserted canal winds through the land, its dry bed a testament to the gods' indifference. Two figures, Lucan and Corin, emerge from the horizon. Lucan, tall and lean, walks with precise, cautious steps, his eyes scanning every corner of the desolate landscape. Corin, a youth of 18, moves with quick agility, his piercing green eyes full of curiosity. They carry small sacks gathering sparse supplies from the desert floor. And we've got dialogue. You ever wonder if this place was alive once? People laughing, running straight through there? Gestures to the dried canal. Lucan, without looking up, focus Corin. There's no life here anymore, only traces of failure. Ooh, this is definitely dark opening. Corin rolls his eyes, but keeps searching. Suddenly, his gaze snaps to something unusual lying near the canal's edge. He jogs ahead, revealing the unconscious form of Davos, a weathered man in his 30s, sun-bronzed skin missing his right arm. His remaining arm clutches a strange mining glove adorned with faintly glowing runes, bloodstains on the surrounding ground. And obviously, look over here. They both rush over, stopping abruptly. Lucan's cautious nature kicks in. Lucan frowns. We shouldn't be here. What if this is a trap? Corin kneeling beside Davos. He's hurt Lucan badly. They inspect the mining glove with fascination. This craftsmanship, it's not like anything I've ever seen. This is divine work. Lucan, which means he's either a rebel or something worse. We take him, we risk one of the main villains hunting us down. So they look at each other with some philosophical tension between them. If we leave him here, what kind of people does that make us? Very true. Corin stands, his green eyes locked on Lucan, silently challenging him to consider the consequences. Lucan begrudgingly, fine, but if anything goes wrong, you'll regret this. I like the tension. I think this is maybe a little bit cliche in some ways. Some of the dialogue has implications about the world that I might have some creative differences on. Like, Corin and Lucan here are already pretty well kept up with the fact that Pyraxis is a threat and that Davos here clearly very well could be a rebel. Personally, if I was going to change this, I'd rather them see Davos and just know that he's a gold miner, not knowing anything about rebellion, and especially not knowing about a potential god. I'd rather have them have never seen a potential god in the first place, not really know much about them, have them be more mysterious and ethereal, especially towards the beginning of the movie. We want to build up the world slowly, so let's try some AI tools to fix the script up. So I'm going to highlight all of this, and we'll click rewrite, so we can just instruct it apparently. We'll see how the AI handles this. I don't want Corin or Lucan to be aware of human rebellion against the gods. As far as they know, the gods are rulers and bestowed humanity with their own existence. A human could never challenge a god, right? They do, however, recognize that Davos is like a gold miner, right? He works in the mines mining gold for the gods. So we'll rewrite that. Let's see how the AI does. I'm hopeful, but a little bit worried. We shouldn't be here. What if this is dangerous? He's hurt. Look at the craftsmanship. Isn't this the glove of a gold runner? Which means he's either an elite miner or someone the gods cast out. We take him, we risk proving ourselves unworthy in their eyes. Ooh, I like that. All right, that fits a lot better with what I wanted. It worked well. Hey, that was some good rewriting. I don't know what Saga is using for models under the hood here, but it has been described as a multi-modal workflow. I'd be very interested to know what's powering the rewriting here, because that is a very powerful tool when doing things like writing scripts based off of characters, plot, acts, beats. Picks up the injured Davos with Lucan's help, and they begin dragging him towards the village. You can see as I click up towards the top with all of these different buttons, action goes in a different place than character versus dialogue, something parenthetical, or even a transition. I believe this follows the classic rules of script writing, so it's nice to see that the UI is designed for that specifically. Alright, in the next scene, I want to include a beat. So we'll include the beat. It's from the prologue. As they're dragging him, Davos sort of comes to light. He's becoming conscious again, and he gazes and sees this bird struggling to escape a net, symbolizing his own plight. So we'll include that beat. He's regaining consciousness as he's being carried. Let's see what it generates. All right, now it wants to just take us right to the interior of Gorma's healing hut, which is definitely too far along. It seems like when I'm generating like a new scene heading, it wants to establish a new location. But if I go to action here, I can't include the beat in the action mode. If I give it no instructions, just click generate, what exactly happens? All right, with no prompt, it just tries to continue the story, which is what I'd like to see it do, honestly, from a UI and user standpoint. Regardless, I think I'd like to give the storyboard a try. Scene 1, shot 1. This will be a long shot. I believe that's how we opened it. A little bit overhead, and we have to describe the shot. I wish I could just go right into the script, understand that this is like our first shot, and then just grab this description right here, because this is exactly what we want for our first scene. So that's something that I would say I'd like to see improved. I'd like to see the shot description be able to directly grab the first scene of my script and understand that, and then integrate it, because I have to manually paste this for now and begin to storyboard using some AI generated imagery. There we go. We got some nice imagery here, establishing shot. Looks like I can select one of these and then actually generate a video based on it. I will say this part feels a little bit less refined than part where you develop the story, the characters, etc. In terms of actual composition of shots, generating videos to go along with those, I think that LTX Studio has an edge there for sure, just in the sheer UI and the speed that you can actually do it. But in terms of story elements and putting all that together, Saga completely obliterates LTX. So we'll have this a push in, generate video. I wonder what kind of quality we'll see. Wow, hey, our first generation came out pretty good. This is not a bad video generation model. Whatever they're using under the hood, it seems to be pretty consistent, and it did a decent push-in shot for this generated image. I'm really happy that they have the storyboarding tool in here. I would just like to see it integrated a bit better with the other elements of the story, the beats, the acts, the character, the script as a whole, kind of grab those things and actually outline itself automatically. I think that would be so cool. Two figures emerge. We'll try to storyboard this scene as well. Integrating characters is a whole different story than just an establishing shot. All right, here we could see some issues with the AI generation. It's mixing these characters up together. AI image gen has come very far, but especially the integration here in Saga, it's pretty basic. At least though, for the shot info, we can upload an image of our own, and we can use an external image generation platform to get a shot that looks a little bit better. All right, the automatic AI video generation here does pretty decently overall. It's definitely a lightweight model, but honestly, the leg movements here, definitely not terrible. All right, so let's get into final judgment. Now, to the opening of this video, I was absolutely able to harness my creativity and effectively supercharge it, using AI to fill in the blanks and help with writer's block. The AI was absolutely able to understand the story, what makes it tick, give me new ideas, oftentimes better ideas even. The chat on the side was super helpful, although it did have a little bit of trouble understanding exactly what parts of the interface I was working on at a given moment. I think they really did merge the technical and the creative well here. It's a single platform to write, visualize, and use AI to supercharge your creativity, iterating on stories and films over time. This isn't an AI use case for generating a whole film in one go. I think it really did enhance my story overall. It was more fleshed out, well thought out, and included a lot of elements that I hadn't thought of, but merged well with my initial creative idea. If I was serious about creating a screenplay, something to sell maybe to a studio, or create my own movie eventually, I'd prefer to do it, or at least start the project in Saga, because it has the story for the plot, the characters, the acts, the beats, including all of the archetypes, a general structure to actually help me build something that makes sense and works as a real movie. LTX Studio doesn't have anything like that, and there aren't really many other platforms for this. I mean, you could try to do something like this in ChatGPT directly, but it's just not set up to do it. Making a whole movie script is not an easy or simple process by any means. As mentioned, pseudo-write is also a possibility, but they really are leaning into the novel side of things, if you want to write a novel, Pseudo-Write might be the place to go, but for actual filmmaking, script writing, screenplay, Saga is going to be the place to be. Now, that being said, we do have to talk about the other side of things, the pricing in relation to Saga. First off, they do offer a 3-day trial, which is what I used to make this video today. I paid exactly $0 to test this out, although I did need to have a credit card on file. They do have some limited free capabilities, but to really test this thing out and use it to its best, you're going to want to sign up for the 3-day free trial at the very least. There is no commitment here, so if I cancel my plan within the 3 days, I don't pay anything. I got to try the product for free. End of story. But listen, if you're already writing screenplays, if you're already writing your own movies, and you're willing to pay to supercharge your creativity with AI, Saga did provide me with a code to give you guys. It's MVPHalfOffMonth. And it should give you 50% off your first month. Put together, that makes it a pretty great deal if you're really serious about this. Now, what are you going to be charged if you actually do sign up for this? After the free trial, it is $20 per month, but with my half-off coupon, that's $10 for the first month. If you're not a filmmaker, if you're not interested in writing screenplays or exploring your creative ideas more deeply, powered by AI, this just probably isn't going to be the platform for you, and I understand that. Pseudo-Write, similar but lends itself for novels, not filmmaking, is also $20 per month, and I also thought that that was pretty fair for what that platform offered regarding novels. And this platform at the same exact price, while offering honestly better tools for developing a story that is going to work over time, it's not bad. Not to mention the storyboarding as well is included. I think it's more of like an early storyboarding interface, not fully developed, but it's still there, it's still usable, and it's a lot better than nothing. I've done so much creative writing and creative ideation with AI in the past. This platform works for filmmaking, it really does. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on Saga. I hope this video was useful for you in some way, shape, or form. Huge thanks to Saga for sponsoring me to check out this product for you guys and supporting the channel in the process. This channel would not be able to be a full-time reality without sponsors. But again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, all opinions are my own, point blank, period. And I will always tell you when content is sponsored. That being said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.